Good evening. In this corner, boxing 24. How's everyone doing this evening? Hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing great on this side. As always, God is great, God is good, and I can't complain. So, in this corner, boxing 24, please subscribe to the page, please leave your comments. Help us keep bringing good content to the boxing world. So, what I want to talk about tonight is Sebastian Fundora, junior middleweight, and his fight against Carlos Ocampo. Carlos Ocampo is 34-2 now. He was 34-1 with 22 knockouts. His loss before the fight last night, the loss to Sebastian Fundora, was to Errol Spence Jr., where he was knocked out in the first round. In 2018, it was 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. And Sebastian Fundora is 20-0 with 13 knockouts. So, I believe he has one draw. So the fight last night, a lot of people had a lot of things to say, a lot of comments about the fight and how he fought Carlos Ocampo. And of course, they're making reference to the fact that Errol Spence got him out of there in the first round. But like I said, that fight was almost 5 years ago. Errol Spence had some things to say as well. As he can say what he want to say, right? Because Sebastian Fundora has been saying that he wants to, he's the mandatory for Jermell Charlo, and he wants to fight him. And I believe Jermell Charlo had some comments to make as well. So my thing is this though, because I call myself a boxing analyst. I can break down fighters, I can break down fights, and I can analyze things in a way that it really makes sense, right? So here's my thing. Carlos Ocampo lost to Errol Spence, like I said, 2018, but it was in the beginning to the middle part of 2018, so it was over 4 years, right? And since he lost that fight to Errol Spence, he fought 12 times in 4 years, and he won. And he had KOs and TKOs, right, in those fights. He fought 4 times in 2019, 3 times in 2021, and his fight with Sebastian Fundora made it 4 times that he fought in 2022. So here's my thing. To compare his fight with Errol Spence to Sebastian Fundora, does that make any sense when that fight was so long ago and he was on a win streak since that fight? So that would mean what? He had to learn something from that loss. He can't be the same exact fighter. He could be, but with 4 wins, I don't think so, right? So I'm not going to compare his loss to Errol Spence and his loss to Fundora because they were going back and forth, because that's the main thing. People trying to say, well, Sebastian Fundora, he's 6'5", he don't know how to use his range, he don't know how to control range, right, which is very important in boxing. Something that the great Floyd Mayweather knew how to do, something that Shakur Stevenson today knows how to do, control the range, something that Jerome Boots Enos knows how to do, control the range, okay? Very important, where I can control it, where I can hit you and not get hit. So he's not a good defensive fighter, Sebastian Fundora. He's tall, he has long reach, but yeah, his defensive skills are definitely lacking. However, he does have some good boxing skills. He does punch pretty hard. Looks like he got some decent power. And I'm not going to say because he couldn't get Ocampo out of there that it's a lack on him, because he did damage to Erickson Lubin. He damaged him, man, And did he damage him because he didn't have no defense? Yeah, absolutely. Nevertheless, he still damaged him. He still did some work on him. So I always try to look at it, right, all the way around the board. And when you look at it again, no, he's not a defensive fighter, but he can pop, and he got some boxing skill. So does that mean that Jermell Charlo just gonna knock him out because he was in a 12-round fight with Carlos Ocampo? Absolutely not. Because the question is, can Jermell Charlo stand in there with him and take his punches? You have to see, because Carlos Ocampo did it. Does that mean that Jermell Charlo can do it? At this stage, who knows? You really don't know until you get in there. Could Errol Spence stand there with him and take it? I don't know. We don't know until we see a fight. But I do know that he's a skilled fighter, and if he gets a little defense, if he learns how to control the range, he's going to be even more dangerous, you know, which is the same instance for like a Deontay Wilder. If he learns how to control the range, man, he's a beast. Fury wouldn't have beaten him two times rather, and that first fight wouldn't have been as close. So yeah, Sebastian Fundora has to learn. I'm not his lawyer. I'm not trying to defend him. I don't hate on him either. He's a fighter. He's a boxer. He gets in there, puts his life on the line. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to compare the two different fights, especially with the long range that it was. And this man had 12 fights since that loss. So if I had a loss, man, and then I'm on a 12-fight win streak, man, come on. I can't use the loss. The loss is like damn near never happened. Even though it was, it was 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. But if I'm winning since then, nah, I can't use that. Okay? So if that's being said just to knock Fundora, because he's not really a trash talker, he just said he's the mandatory for Jermell Charlo and he wants to fight him. He think he's proven it. So, okay, I would say that too. He got to get a shot, get a chance to get in there and fight. He may lose to Jermell Charlo. I like Jermell Charlo. I think it's going to be a fight. I don't think Charlo's going to just go in there and knock him out. And I also heard people comparing other fighters, Tim Tszyu and Brian Castano would annihilate him. And no, I don't think so. Brian Castano, I don't think he would be able to deal with Sebastian Fundora. He probably would knock him out. Okay, earlier than what Jermell Charlo did. Then what would you say? You see? I'm going to compare. So, Tim Tszyu, man, I think he would definitely get Tim Tszyu out of there. We saw what happened to him with Gausha. So come on, man. We're not going to say that. Let's just wait and see what happens, man, when they step in the ring. That's what I'll say, okay? But I'm not into personalities, man. I'm into telling the truth and saying how I feel. And if I like you, just because I like you don't mean I'm just going to defend you. I'm only going to defend you in truth and based on your level of experience and what you have done and how you've done it. Okay? I can't just defend Floyd Mayweather because he's my favorite fighter. He did have some close fights. It is what it is, right? So I can't just defend the fighters because I like them. I don't do that, all right? If somebody got flaws, it is what it is. If I like somebody, but I think he'll lose to the next person, it is what it is. And that's how I get down, okay? That's how I rock with my knowledge, the knowledge that I have. That's how I do. I don't do favorites and personalities. Though I have favorite fighters, I'm just saying, if it's going to be a tough fight, I'm going to say that. Okay? So I'm not just riding with you just because. So that's all I really got, man. I just wanted to touch on that. All right? Peace and blessings in this corner, Boxing 24. Please subscribe to the page. Please leave your comments. Let me know how you feel. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace. Be safe.